My beloved child, I need you to lean in with me for just a moment. This isn't background noise. This isn't another video you stumble across while scrolling. What I'm about to share carries the weight of eternity pressing down on this very second. You may think you chose this message. No, this message has chosen you. Out of millions of souls on this earth, heaven orchestrated that your eyes and ears would land here right now. And I need you to understand this is not coincidence. This is divine interruption. I say this with trembling in my heart. If you ignore this word, you may not get another chance for years. Do you feel that stirring inside your chest right now? That heaviness? That quickening in your heartbeat? That's not adrenaline, that's the Spirit of God knocking at the door of your soul. You see, we live our lives thinking we have endless tomorrows. We say, I'll change tomorrow, I'll pray tomorrow, I'll get serious about God tomorrow. But child of God, tomorrow is the most dangerous word in your vocabulary. Tomorrow is how destinies are lost. Tomorrow is how callings wither on the vine. Tomorrow is the lie the enemy whispers to keep you in chains one more day. This is not a gentle suggestion from heaven. This is an urgent summons. The atmosphere around you right now is thick because unseen armies are waiting on your response. Angels are leaning forward. The cloud of witnesses is holding its breath. And I tell you the truth, what you do in this next stretch of moments will set the course of your future. Don't dismiss this. Don't minimize it. The God who spun galaxies into orbit, the God who numbered the hairs on your head this morning, the God who sustained you through nights you thought you wouldn't survive, he is speaking now. And he is saying, this is your moment. Do not pass it by. Let me take you for a moment into a place most people never imagine, the courtroom of heaven. I saw it as clear as day in my spirit. Your name was called, not whispered, not muttered. It was shouted across eternity. The accuser of your soul stepped forward with a case he's been building against you for years. 7 years of documentation. 7 years of every compromise, every delay, every time you said, later, Lord, and reached for comfort instead of calling. He laid it all out before the judge of the universe. He showed the mornings you grabbed your phone before you even whispered a prayer. He pointed to the nights you drowned your weariness in distractions instead of resting in God's presence. He replayed the moments you silenced conviction because Netflix, or the news, or the noise of this world felt more urgent than the whisper of the Spirit. The evidence was damning. The gavel was raised. Judgment was about to fall. And let me be honest with you, it would have been fair. By the standard of heaven's holiness, none of us measure up. None of us can stand righteous on our own. But then, oh, listen to this, something unprecedented happened. Your guardian angel, the one assigned to you since the day you drew your first breath, broke protocol. They stepped forward with trembling hands and invoked what is known in heaven as the mercy clause. And child of God, that clause can only be used once in a lifetime. Once, they held up the unseen record of your faithfulness. They showed heaven the nights you wept alone when no one else knew the battle you were fighting. They reminded the judge of the prayers you prayed for others even while your own life was falling apart. They showed every time you felt like quitting, yet you kept breathing, kept walking, kept believing, even if your faith was as small as a mustard seed. And in that moment, all of heaven grew silent. The gavel froze in midair. And then the voice that holds galaxies together thundered 4 simple words, give them one more chance. And that, my beloved, is why you are here right now. This moment, this message, it is the extension of heaven's mercy over your life. The courtroom paused, judgment was delayed, you have been given one more chance. Now let me pull back the curtain a little further, because what you've been walking through isn't just stress, age, or bad luck. No, there is a war being fought around your life that most people never see. The word says we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities and powers in heavenly places. And I need you to hear me. You've been in that fight even when you didn't realize it. That heaviness in your chest, that constant exhaustion you can't quite explain, those restless nights where your dreams feel like battles you can't remember, That's not just fatigue, my friend. That's spiritual warfare. Your spirit has been wrestling in realms beyond sight, pushing back against forces determined to choke out your purpose before you even fully discover it. Do you know how valuable you are? Darkness knows. Hell knows. That's why you've been targeted. That's why distraction after distraction shows up in your life. Because you are carrying something dangerous to the kingdom of darkness. Something inside you, placed there by the hand of Almighty God, has the power to break generational chains and shift destinies. And the enemy knows, if you ever fully wake up to who you are in Christ, his stronghold over your bloodline collapses in an instant. That's why, as incredible as it sounds, 12 demons, yes, 12, have been specifically assigned to your life. Not to kill you, but to keep you comfortable, distracted, mediocre. If they can't destroy you, they'll settle for dulling you. If they can't take your breath, they'll steal your focus. And if they can keep you scrolling, worrying, chasing shadows, then you'll never step into the firepower of your calling. But here's the truth heaven wanted me to remind you of today. You are not alone in this fight. Every tear you've cried at 3 a.m., every moment you thought you were forgotten, every silent prayer you prayed when no one else saw, heaven recorded it. As of this moment, 43,000 entries sit in the books of heaven about your struggles, your endurance, your faithfulness when it would have been easier to quit. 43,000, that's not random. That's proof that the Father has been watching, that the battle is real, and that your fight has never gone unnoticed. Beloved, you've been at war, but today heaven is telling you the tide is turning. Beloved, I must speak plainly here, because heaven isn't interested in sugarcoating the truth. One of the greatest dangers facing the church today is not open rebellion, it's casual faith. Too many of us have learned how to sprinkle God into the margins of our lives, like he's a spare tire, there for emergencies, but never driving the vehicle. Think about it. How often do you wake up and reach for your phone before you reach for prayer? How often do you plan your day, your finances, your decisions, without even asking the one who holds tomorrow in his hands? We treat the King of Glory like an accessory, a background option, a part-time God we call when we're desperate. But hear me, the Lord will not settle for your leftovers. He doesn't want your tired minutes at the end of the day. He doesn't want the scraps of your attention once the world has drained you dry. He is the God who spoke galaxies into motion with a whisper. He is the God before whom angels cover their faces crying, "Holy, holy, holy." And he is saying right now, I am not optional. The tragedy of King Saul comes to mind. Chosen by God, anointed, given victory after victory. But success made him forget the source. Power made him trust his own wisdom more than God's word. He offered partial obedience and called it worship. He cared more about people's opinions than God's presence. And do you remember the end? Madness, death, not because God stopped loving him, but because Saul stopped recognizing God. Child of God, let that not be your story. Yet if you're honest, some of it already is. Every day you choose everything else over him, you write another line of decline. Every moment you silence his whisper to listen to the noise of the world, you build another wall between you and your Creator. And the Lord will not force his way through those walls. You must choose to open the door. Do not confuse his patience with approval. Do not mistake his silence for absence. He has been giving you space, waiting on you, but he will not wait forever. He is calling for your heart, your first fruits, your best hours, your devotion in full. Beloved, he doesn't want part of you. He wants all of you or none at all. Now listen closely, because this is where the mercy of God turns into opportunity. Heaven has not just extended grace, it has scheduled confirmation. In the next 72 hours, God himself has promised to give you 3 undeniable signs. Not hints, not vague coincidences you can explain away. Clear, unmistakable evidence that he is speaking directly to you in this moment. The first sign will come within 6 hours. Out of nowhere, someone you haven't heard from in years will reach out. Their words will cut straight to something you've been silently praying about. That is not chance. That is the Father letting you know, I hear you, I see you. I know what's been on your heart. The second sign will come tomorrow. A door you thought was permanently shut will creak open. Maybe it's an opportunity, a reconciliation, a fresh possibility in an area of your life you had already buried. And when you see that crack of light, you will know. Heaven just turned the key. And the third sign will come on the third day. A shift in your very body. It may be healing where pain once lived, sudden energy where weariness weighed you down, or peace flooding places in your soul that have been dry for years. And in that moment you will not question. It will be undeniable that the hand of God has touched you. But hear me, beloved, these signs come with conditions. Heaven is not a vending machine, it is a covenant. For the next 72 hours, God is asking you to seek Him as if your life depends on it, because it does. He is asking you to wake at 5:55 a.m., not 6 o'clock, not 5:45, precisely 5:55. That number carries significance in the spirit for your journey. Before your feet touch the floor, before you even reach for your phone, speak these words out loud. I choose you today above everything else. I surrender my plans to your purpose. I am listening. Then wait in silence for 7 minutes. Don't rush. Don't fill the space with your words. Let Him speak. Delete the distractions. Remove the apps that steal your focus. Send a message to the first person the Spirit brings to your mind. I've been praying for you. Simple obedience opens supernatural doors. Beloved, this is not ritual, this is alignment. When you prioritize His presence, angels are dispatched, chains break, and heaven begins to move. Beloved, I would not be faithful to you if I only spoke of the promise and never warned of the cost. Because as surely as heaven responds to obedience, hell takes advantage of neglect. Every time you treat God's call as optional, every time you push Him to the bottom of your list, you open doors you never meant to open. You've wondered why your finances seem cursed, why relationships keep falling apart, why peace slips through your fingers no matter how hard you chase it. It's not just bad breaks or bad luck, it's spiritual negligence. When you delay obedience, when you minimize His voice, you hand the enemy legal ground to operate in your life, and the enemy collects with interest. That's why the stress keeps compounding. That's why joy feels like a memory. That's why your health has been under siege. It's not because God abandoned you, it's because you've been living like His presence is optional. And the enemy knows every day you take God for granted is another day He gets to tighten the chains. Think of Israel in the wilderness. They were God's chosen people, yet they circled the same desert for 40 years because of unbelief and disobedience. They had manna in the morning, miracles by night, but they never entered the fullness of what God promised, simply because they hardened their hearts. That can happen to us if we mistake mercy for permission. And friend, I have seen it with my own eyes. Lives that were meant for impact reduced to survival. Marriages that could have been healed but weren't because pride delayed obedience. Callings that could have shifted generations cut short because compromise felt easier in the moment. This is not a game. This is not another sermon to nod through and forget by lunchtime. If you shrug this off, you may survive, yes, but you will not thrive. You will exist, but you will not walk in destiny. And worst of all, you'll look back one day and realize that the life you lived was a shadow of the life God intended. Beloved, I plead with you, do not let neglect write your story. Heaven's invitation is before you, but heaven will not force you. The choice is yours. Beloved, sometimes we need to see what happens when ordinary people, just like you, decide to obey, or when they choose to walk away. Because the truth is, God's invitations are real, but so are the consequences of our response. Let me tell you about James from Detroit. 3 weeks ago, he stumbled across this very same message. He almost scrolled past. His logical mind said, "This is foolish. This can't be God." But something inside tugged on him and he stopped. He followed the instructions. He rose at 5:55 a.m., he whispered the prayer of surrender, he deleted the distractions. Within 72 hours, a job that had rejected him months earlier called back. They admitted a mistake. Not only did they hire him, but they doubled the salary he had even asked for. But listen carefully, the job wasn't the real miracle. The miracle was that James, for the first time in 43 years, heard the voice of God clearly, not audibly, but undeniably. He said, "Pastor, it was like the fog lifted. For the first time, I knew God wasn't far away. He was right here. And now, James is walking in a peace he never thought possible. But not everyone responds the same. Maria from Brazil heard this word 6 months ago. She thought she had time. She thought tomorrow would be better. She thought she could handle life on her own terms a little longer. She ignored it. And within weeks, everything collapsed. The business she had built, the relationship she relied on, even her health. In a single month, it all crumbled. She wrote me not long ago, saying, "I wish I had listened. I can start over, but I lost 6 months of destiny I can never get back." And then there's David from London. He was planning to end his life the night this message came across his screen. The pills were ready, the note was written, but something made him pause and type those three simple numbers, 777. In that moment, he felt a heat flood his chest, not metaphorical, but real, tangible warmth, as if heaven wrapped its arms around him. Instead of swallowing the pills, he picked up the phone and called the suicide hotline. Today, 3 months later, David is alive, not only alive, but counseling others who stand where he once stood. He says, "Typing 777 saved my life." But it wasn't the numbers. It was obedience. It was surrender. It was finally saying yes to God instead of yes to despair. Beloved, their stories are not random. They are proof that God keeps his word, proof that obedience unlocks destiny, proof that your response matters. Beloved, now it is your turn. You have heard the warnings, you have heard the promises, you have heard the testimonies, but none of it will matter unless you act. Heaven is not watching casually, it is watching intently. The angels assigned to your life are leaning forward. The cloud of witnesses, the saints who have gone before you, are holding their breath. The question is not whether God is ready. The question is whether you will respond. Do not deceive yourself into thinking you can put this off until tomorrow. Tomorrow is not promised. Later is a lie. The enemy's greatest strategy is to whisper, "Not now." You can wait, but beloved, this is the moment heaven has been preparing for years. Right now, the spiritual atmosphere around you is charged, the portal of opportunity is open, but it will not stay open forever. I need you to understand this. Your breakthrough is hovering, your miracle is ready, your destiny is waiting. But heaven cannot override your free will. You must choose, you must decide. You must declare, "From this moment forward, I choose God first." Not when it's convenient, not when you're desperate, not as a backup plan first. And your response cannot just be emotional, it must be tangible. Take a step right now, speak the words out loud. "Lord, I surrender, I choose you today above everything else." Type it, write it, declare it in your spirit. Send that message to the person God has placed on your heart. "I've been praying for you." Delete the distractions you know are stealing your focus. Wake up tomorrow at 5:55 a.m. and meet with him. 7 minutes of silence that could shift the rest of your life. Beloved, do you realize what happens when you obey even in small ways? Armies move. Chains break, doors swing open in the unseen. Every action you take in the natural has multiplied impact in the supernatural. When you say yes, angels are dispatched. When you choose his presence over comfort, strongholds collapse. This is not just about you. Your obedience is the answer to someone else's prayer. Your surrender could unlock blessings for generations not yet born. The lives you are meant to impact hang in the balance of this moment. So I ask you, as your brother, as your shepherd, as one who longs to see you free, will you choose him now? Will you act not tomorrow, not later, but now? Heaven is waiting, hell is trembling, the decision is yours. Beloved, we have walked together through the weight of heaven's courtroom, through the battles of the unseen, through the testimonies of those who chose and those who refused. Now everything comes down to this moment. Your moment. This is the pivot point of your life. The page is ready to turn. The ink of heaven waits for your signature. Right here, right now, the countdown is real. The window is open, but it will not stay open forever. 7 years of wandering or a new season of breakthrough, it all hinges on what you decide in this very breath. You cannot borrow tomorrow. You cannot assume later. All you have is now, this heartbeat, this breath, this divine interruption. Do you feel it? The shift in the atmosphere, the weight pressing on your spirit? That is not emotion. That is eternity reaching into time. That is the Father saying, "Choose me now, and I will show you what life abundant truly means." If you choose him in this moment, beloved, everything changes. Chains begin to snap you didn't even know were wrapped around you. Generational curses crumble. The strongholds that have followed your family for decades collapse in an instant. Peace that passes understanding rushes in like a river. And joy, the kind you thought was gone forever, will rise up inside you again. But you must act, you must declare. Say it with your mouth, say it with your heart. Lord, I choose you. I surrender all. From this day forward, I place you first. And when you do, heaven hears, hell trembles, and the angels assigned to your destiny are released to work on your behalf. Beloved, this is not the end. It is the beginning. This is your upper room, your burning bush, your road to Damascus. This is where the old you dies and the true you rises. The you that heaven has always seen, the you that carries light into darkness, the you that generations have been waiting for. So step forward, do not look back, do not delay. Lift your hands, lift your heart, lift your voice, and welcome the God who never gave up on you. The portal is closing, but your new season is opening. The contract of grace is signed, the angels are moving, and your destiny is unfolding even now. Beloved, welcome to the beginning of everything you've been waiting for.